gotta be kidding me. Shelby GT350, Gone in 60 Seconds, the movie. It's Eleanor, I get it. How's it going?
Good, how you doing?
This thing is nice. This is the real thing, not a clone, huh?
The real deal, this is it.
67 GT350?
Yep, only 1,175 made total.
Need my tennis racket. It's Wimbledon white, right?
It is Wimbledon white. Carroll Shelby was a great race car driver as well as a great builder of cars, and that's why Ford got involved with him to begin with. Got it here in Las Vegas about 12 years ago. It's a treasure to own. What made this car famous was the movie Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage. They nicknamed the car Eleanor. That's why the car is worth more value today.
The 67 is the best, period.
I appreciate that.
It really is. I mean, this was the way Carroll Shelby envisioned the car, okay? And he worked on it, his guys worked on it. It wasn't guys at a Ford plant slapping it together who didn't give
Exactly.
This is one of the quintessential cool cars of the 1960s. There was right around 100 modifications that Shelby did to a Ford Mustang to make the GT350. It improved its performance, its handling, and its style. Needless to say, this is about as cool as it gets, and I would love to have it.
This is clean. This is really nice. It looks all beautifully stock. That's what I like to see.
Yep, original 4-speed top loader. Got 63,000 original miles on the car.
Original gauges. I'm sure the upholstery's been redone.
Just the inserts in the seats actually have been redone.
Well, that's expected to be done. It's just as long as it's done right.
Right.
And this all looks right. And he signed the glove box. Always charged like a couple $100. You just had to give it to his charity, right?
Yep, that's the way it went.
That's definitely a plus, as far as I'm concerned. So how much are you gonna get out of it?
Well, my asking on the car is $125,000. I've done my homework on this car. I know the value of it. I feel it's a fair price what I'm asking for the car.
Okay. I'm gonna call up a buddy of mine, have him come down here and help me figure out the price. I mean, it's an expensive car. There's a million little things that raise and lower the prices on these things.
Okay.
Okay, so
right.
let me get him down here. He will know every single thing there is to know about this car.
Terrific.
Okay?
Nice. There it is, the Hypo 289, man. It looks like it's a pretty well-kept engine bay. You know, this is definitely a car that's been cherished, I can tell that. What really makes the difference right now is the test drive. That's the only way to validate whether it's a real Shelby.
I think it's the real deal, guys.
Do you mind if we take it for a spin around the block, make sure there's no problems, everything's running right?
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine.
Okay. So I promise I won't break it.
Okay, you promise.
The Hypo 289, let's do this.
Be careful with my baby.
Back in '67, when you were driving this car, you were kind of a baller. I mean, this was paying a lot of money to drive a Mustang.
Yeah.
You could drive a Porsche for the price of this car back then. You know what I mean? Yeah, she's nice, man. She's real tight. The test drive was awesome, man. It's a solid car. It felt good. It's got really good power. You know that car would get the goods when you lay into the throttle.
What do you think it's worth?
Well, it's a solid car, runs and drives good. So I'd say anywhere between 100 to 110,000 bucks. I appreciate you letting us take it for a nice, easy meander down the road.
I appreciate what you said, and we'll talk and we'll see how it
you
goes.
got a great car, man. Great
Okay,
car,
I appreciate
Rick.
it. Thanks so
All right,
much.
see you soon,
Good luck,
man.
buddy.
So, what do you think?
I think it's a great car, and I rarely do this, but I'm not gonna negotiate. I will give you 100 grand. There's no money past 100 grand, none.
Is it feasible that you might be able to do 105?
No. Anything past 100 doesn't make a dime of sense.
All right, so that's the max you're gonna go.
Not one dime more.
You got a deal.
Sweet. Let's go do some paperwork, and
All right.
we can figure out if my dad's gonna yell at me for driving for a week.
I figure this was a good point for me to go ahead and let it go. And now he's got the car, I got the money, and I'm out of here.
So this is it, huh?
Yeah, this is the dude, man, the '66 Chevy 2. I know you like slick rides, so this is one slick ride.
Okay, yeah, it's definitely cool, man. How long you had it?
I've had it a few weeks, have some fun with it, and now I'm thinking about doing a new project.
Okay, so you bought it, and then you didn't like it, so now you want to sell it.
I came down to discuss the selling of Chevy 2. It's a Pro Street muscle car, Corvette motor. The reason I wanted to sell it because I have another project in mind. The lease I would take was $40,000.
I mean, it's badass. I mean, it's just classic evolution of cars in the 1960s, you know what I mean?
It's American muscle, man. This is the car you just get in it and smash the gas. Interesting to note, this car was to replace the Corvair. So Ford comes out with the Ford Falcon, which is a little tiny car, a compact for those days, and then sales start to slump for Corvair, and so they launched the Chevy 2. This car's a 1966 Chevy 2. It's a pretty cool little pro touring car. Guy's got a lot of work done to it. I figured, pretty cool car, Rick might be interested.
The paint job is great. The body work on this thing is great. It all matches, it all flows together. You mind if I pop the hood open?
Be my guest. It's an LS1 motor.
Holy
That looks good. That Corvette motor sure does look good, this grandma's car.
that's a big wow factor right there.
You can tell the guy did a lot of attention to detail on it, you know?
Getting that motor to fit in there right looks like it was done right. My buddy had one of these things when I was young, and we were embarrassed to be in it, I'll tell you that.
I don't think you'd be embarrassed today, though.
Yeah. This
Okay.
one's got a little more street attitude to it.
Okay, you mind if I look inside?
Please.
Yeah, I like the seats a lot, man.
Definitely a different dash. Yeah, this is right out of Knight Rider. This Chevy 2 is pretty cool, and I love the work that was done to it. This car with a Corvette motor will haul ass. The look of the car is great, but did you change the rear end?
The rear end is totally stock.
66 rear end with a
Yes.
with an LS1.
Yes.
We call that a grenade.
Yeah, because that rear end was designed to handle 125 horsepower, not
Absolutely.
300 or 400.
I think you're pushing. These were about 90 horsepower, I think, when they were.
Yeah, as long as you don't take it over the limit, you'll be fine.
But you got to do a burnout every once in a while. You got to look cool for
Every
the
day.
girls, you know what I mean?
Every day.
If you do this on this car, the entire rear end will fold up and implode. I really like it, but I think I'd have a hard time selling it. I mean, what do you want for it?
I would think 40,000.
You know, I don't mean to beat you up. I'd give you like 15 grand for it because it's a project that's not done in my eyes.
Yeah, this will be a fun project car.
Well, it'd be a great project, but right now I ain't got the time for a project. You know, I mean, what is your best price?
My best price would be 40.
40 might be a decent price for someone who wanted to keep it. But it's not done. It's gonna be $5,000 to redo the rear end.
Yeah.
I can't do 40. I can't do 40. There's.
Okay.
Sorry, we couldn't do business, man.
Thanks.
All right, well, thanks for giving me a call, man.
No problem, brother. Thanks, man.
It's definitely Rick's loss. He has some good points, though, about the rear end and the things that need to be upgraded, so I respect that. But he will never get a 15,000.
What do we have here?
My 1960 Chevy Corvair.
I like it.
Would you like to hear the horn?
Let's hear the horn. That's not stock, is it?
No. I thought it was really unique in its own way, so I had to have it. I think it's in pretty good condition. A lot of Corvairs are just rust buckets. I need to sell it just because I need some money for school. I'm hoping to get about 10,000. The least I'll take is about 6,000.
This is a 1960? Mm-hmm. It was the first model year. In 1960, if you were like an 18, 19-year-old kid having this car, you were cool. It was a modern, slick-looking car. This was a really innovative car. I mean, GM completely redesigned the car with this thing.
What was so new and innovative about it?
Air-cooled motor in the back, rear-engine car, really fuel efficient. I mean, this thing got, I think it was like 26 miles to the gallon. They were trying to go a little Volkswagen-ish.
Yeah.
Basically, in 1960, you had Porsche, Volkswagen, and Corvairs were the only ones with the engine in the back. The Corvair was GM's attempt at a revolutionary new car. They were trying to compete with other cars that were gaining popularity, like the Volkswagen. They came up with a radical new design that took chances and turned heads.
Let me show you the inside.
Okay. This was considered a compact car back then.
It's a decent-sized little car for a small family.
We put the seatbelts in.
Okay, yeah. Because of this car, a lot of car safety was created.
I know a little bit about the SLAM campaign in '64.
Ralph Nader.
Ralph Nader, yeah.
Yeah. Ralph Nader's book, Unsafe at Any Speed, focused on the dangers of driving the Corvair. He testified in front of Congress about it. Now we have safer windshields, seatbelts, and energy-absorbing steering wheels. I'll tell you what, there's people who fell in love with this car, and there's people in love with them today.
Yeah. I've had a guy follow me for a couple of miles just to ask what year it was, and
Sounds creepy.
it was a little creepy, but people love the car.
Can I look at the motor?
Yeah.
Have a gander under the trunk.
There she is.
All right, sweet. See how weird that motor is? This right here is called a pancake motor. It's flat as a pancake, and it doesn't have a radiator. It's air-cooled. We have a big fan that blows a lot of air right over the motor, and that's what keeps it cool.
Well, I've never seen anything like that.
It is cool, though. I mean, I really do dig it. What do you want to do with it?
I want to sell it. I'm asking 10 grand.
10 grand.
But by saying you're asking 10 grand means you'll already take less, right?
Not exactly.
Do you mind if we take it for a spin?
Sure.
Okay. You got the keys?
Yeah.
These cars are definitely collectible. But considering this car is over 50 years old, I gotta make sure everything is cool before I even make an offer.
Have fun.
I mean, I like the car because it was just so different when it came out. I mean, they had to redesign everything to make this car. It's got a rear air-cooled engine, independent suspension. They took some chances making this car. You know, a lot of guys will argue to the death that these things are not dangerous. You just gotta know how to drive them right.
If you're gonna make a car for the general public, then you shouldn't have to drive it right. It should drive like a regular car.
You know what? It is what it is. I mean, guys do collect these. They're worth money. Is it my favorite car? No. I mean, like, look at the slop in the steering. You literally have to drive it like this, too. It smells like there's an exhaust leak. So, this is cool, but I don't know what to think of it, man.
Feels like a death trap.
This might not be Corey's bag, but there's actually some money here. There's a lot of collectors that love these cars. If she'll come down on the price, I think I can make some money here, leaky exhaust and all. Well,
Where in the world did you get the number $10,000 on this car?
Well, that's about what I have into it.
What does that got to do with the price of tea in China? I could buy a convertible that's completely redone for $10,000.
Well, you don't really need to spend too much on paint, and when she drives, she only slips out of gear if you're not going fast enough.
That's not a huge selling point.
you're asking too much for this car. You got some transmission problems. It's not shifting the way it should shift. It's dropping out of gear and doing some weird things.
Well, Blue Book and my insurance has it at $8,000.
Crash it.
God, son.
There was no way I'd even go close to that. If you were gonna force me to make an offer, I'd offer you $3 grand.
I couldn't take that.
We're way too far apart. Thanks for coming by, though.
Thank you.
Want to let her out, Corey?
Yeah.
Corvairs can be great cars, or they can be like this one. I wanted to fall in love with this thing, but a bad transmission and sloppy steering, I just couldn't make the romance work.
So this is it.
The OJ Bronco.
Wow.
It is the OJ Bronco.
Are you kidding me? I've never seen anything quite like this.
This is it.
Well, it's not the OJ Bronco, it's his buddy's Bronco, right?
That's right. It's the Bronco OJ was in the back seat of.
It's sort of weird because OJ and his friend, what was his name?
AC.
They both had identical Broncos, but this is the one everyone knows, this one everyone saw on television, the infamous car chase, and OJ's actually got destroyed, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so OJ now lives in the state of Nevada.
Yeah, I don't think that's by choice.
Yeah.
I own the white Ford Bronco. The murders were June 12th. OJ was supposed to turn himself in on the morning of the 17th. He didn't. And that's the Bronco that everybody can remember seeing driving up the 405 freeway. I've been offered $500,000 for the Bronco. I turned it down. So here it is. I would like to be able to sell the Bronco and then take that money and give it to my children.
So how did you get this thing?
At the time of the Bronco chase, I was OJ's agent.
Amazing.
There's some people that were going to sell the Bronco to a company called, I think it's Graveline Tours, and they were going to go up and down the freeway, go by the murder site, and I just thought that'd be classless, especially since the trial hadn't started yet. So I got it from AC, and have kept it pretty much hidden for the last 22 years.
3 or 4 things in the past, like 30 years, everyone remembers. Everyone remembers where they were at when the Challenger crashed. Everyone remembers where they were at on 9/11. And everyone remembers what they were doing when they saw the OJ chase.
Exactly. And people my age remember when President Kennedy was assassinated.
Yeah.
Which, oddly enough, that vehicle is the second most viewed vehicle in history behind the Bronco.
That is crazy. So this is like an early 90s Bronco, right?
Yeah, 92. Low mileage.
How many miles on it?
About 36,000.
So is that the same license plate that was on it when...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in fact, if you pull up photos, you'll see AC sitting here, and then this license plate, in fact, same frame holder.
Okay. You know, it's that weird bit of pop history. And you're looking to sell this thing.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Obviously, you drove it in here. It runs good, and...
Why don't you take it for a drive?
I get the back seat, and we're getting on the freeway.
This isn't just any SUV. It's the SUV. It's the one 95 million people saw on TV doing what I'm about to do right now.
I hope the AC works.
I'm sure AC had AC. On the phone with the police, he negotiated, I want to go see my mom.
Right.
So where were you at during the chase?
Oddly enough, I was behind the Bronco by about maybe 400 yards. Right behind all the cops, the helicopters.
Amazing.
It was very surreal.
There's a glove back here.
No, there's not. About to cruise on the freeway, chum.
Feel that power?
Yeah. See, he didn't opt for the larger motor.
No.
I'm definitely intrigued. The problem is, putting a value on this thing is almost impossible. There hasn't been another one that is sold. I know someone would pay a ridiculous amount of money for it, but then again, value is going to be really tough. Here you go, chum. All right, so, how much you want for this?
$1.3 million. Yeah, think about it. It's a one of a kind. You know where you were when this was on the 405 freeway.
Yeah.
Worldwide, more people have seen this vehicle than any other vehicle on Earth.
But it's not exactly a love story.
I mean, this thing, like I said, massively iconic car. I'll give you this, it looks amazing. You know what I mean? Rarely do you see a 92 Bronco in this shape. But it also has that bad stuff associated with it, the murders. Yeah. And
now, you know this isn't the one that had the blood in it.
I know, but that's a lot of money.
Okay, I could drop down to $1.25 million.
You might get that or even more at auction. I'm gonna pass on it.
Okay.
With something like this, it's so much of a gamble because there's nothing to compare it to its price.
Right. I'll never sell the Bronco for under $1 million. I know it's worth that, and if it's not, it will be.
All right, so it's the actual car from the movie. That was Steve McQueen's last movie. Should be a 51 Chevy, right? I'll be there in a half hour, 45 minutes. Bye. This guy has the car that Steve McQueen drove in his last movie, Hunter. You ever see the movie?
No.
It's a really good movie. You should watch it. Okay, but anyway, we're gonna go buy the car.
Hey, Rick, why don't you just stay here and let me go? I know you're a Steve McQueen wannabe. And I will buy
I'm not a Steve McQueen wannabe. I just want to go take a look at the car. It's worth a lot of money. We can make some money off it.
Look, we all know that you're gonna get the car, you're gonna pay too much for it.
You've got the Bieber fever from McQueen.
Come on, Corey, let's go.
No, no. Just because it's Steve McQueen's car doesn't mean I'm going to keep it. I'm done with you guys. Come on.
Don't spend too much money.
I'll take care of it.
Steve McQueen wannabe, that was pretty good, boss.
That's the truth.
So this is it, huh?
It is. 1951 Chevy convertible that Steve McQueen drove in the movie The Hunter.
That is sweet. And where did you get it?
It came from his estate. You can hear him grinding the gears, and you can hear it running in the movie.
Okay.
My dad has some kind of weird man crush on Steve McQueen.
It's not a man crush. I just think the guy's really cool, all right?
It's a man crush, dude.
I'm a used car dealer, and this is what I do, is try to turn a profit. It's probably worth somewhere between 80 and 100,000. If we can come in somewhere around 40 grand, that'd be great.
So this was from the movie Hunter. You have the paperwork saying this was in the movie. This was Steve McQueen's car.
Yeah, all the documents and everything we have. It was just a movie car.
Okay. It came out in 1980.
For some reason, I know he crashed the hell out of this car.
The whole premise of the movie was he was a bounty hunter. Things weren't going well for him the entire movie. He gets beat up a lot and things like that. It was a great flick, and I think it was his last movie, too. He passed away just a few months after the movie came out. They really don't make movie stars like Steve McQueen anymore. The guy raced cars and motorcycles for fun, and in the movies, he did most of his own stunts. So I imagine the car was restored in like the 80s. I mean, it does have the cassette player in it.
Yeah.
There's a few things that could use a little attention, but that's a pretty damn clean car. How's the top?
Perfect.
There we go. That looks sweet. I like this. So how much you want for it?
I'd like to be in the neighborhood of about 40 grand.
I mean, I love the car. I'd love to make you an offer on it, but I just want to make sure everything's right on this thing. Do you mind if I have someone come down and take a look at it? Just to make sure there's no major hidden problems, everything's correct?
Sure, understand.
All right, I'll be right back.
I'll give him a call.
The car is beautiful, and McQueen drove it in his last movie. What's not to love? But the business side of me says calm down and get it checked out.
Wow. I'm really glad you guys called me out for this one, man.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. You know, in '51, that was when Chevrolet started that campaign, See the USA in Your Chevrolet. They only did about 20,000 of these in a convertible. '51 Chevy was a great car. They were very much an everyday man's car. This was an affordable car. When they were brand new, they were $2,030 in the convertible form.
What you looking at, Danny?
Just seeing, you know, how much of it looks original. It's been a while since it's been restored, but you can tell that whoever did it did a nice job with it, man. Wow.
It's really clean.
Sure is, man. The car looks beautiful. You know, and it's not restored to the point where you wouldn't want to drive it. This is a car you can have a blast with, man. Can I see in the trunk?
Sure.
Got some certificates in here, too. That's cool, man.
Yeah, certificates are what you need to see.
Should we take it for a spin? Is that all right?
Whatever you want to do.
Where you going? Where you going? What are you doing?
I'm gonna drive it. Yeah, I'm the one buying it.
What'd you have me come out here for?
Check it out, make sure everything's cool on it.
Well, how you expect me to check the car out if you're not gonna let me drive it? This is Steve McQueen's '51 Chevy. I gotta drive it.
Fine.
Thanks, brother.
I can't believe I'm in the back seat of this thing.
How's it back there, Rick? Comfortable?
I should be driving this car right now.
It's really solid, man. There's not a rattle or a shake or nothing in this car. I'm digging.
This is a nice car.
It really is a nice car. To think that Steve McQueen sat in this seat, held this steering wheel, ran through these gears. Rick, you should feel this. You'd really like it.
Yeah, whatever.
This car was in such nice shape. My job was easy today.
So what do you think it's worth?
Ain't a lot to gripe about with this car. The throttle felt great, the transmission felt great, the clutch felt great, the steering felt great. I couldn't say that the car is a 10, but it's a rock-solid 8 for sure. You know, I've seen '51 Chevy convertibles going for all kinds of prices, but I think I would solidly put it in the low 30s as far as the car is concerned. Now you've got the McQueen factor.
Okay.
That falls right into your court.
Okay, well, thanks, Danny.
Absolutely. Any collector would love to have a 51 Chevy convertible. And then what's it worth because it was Steve McQueen's? Kind of take it from there.
All right, so how much do you want for it?
40 grand. It's in the neighborhood of 30, just the way it is. I think Steve McQueen's got to be worth a little bit more.
I'll give you 35 cash.
I put it down on the money where I kind of needed it to be. Can you come up a couple grand?
To what, 37?
37?
I think it's a fair price.
I say go for it.
$37,000. All right, can I drive you down to the pawn shop? We'll take care of it?
Let's go.
All right, you're driving the Jeep back.
Give me your keys.
I can't believe I actually own a car that was driven by Steve McQueen in a movie. And now I finally get to drive it. I am in heaven.
Now I really feel like Steve McQueen.